Hey everyone, this is Germ. Today I'm bringing you my review of the Galil. Now for the Galil I've decided to do something a little bit different. Actually not just with the Galil. Starting now for all of my weapon reviews I'm going to do something a little bit differently. Before I was making a dedicated minute long review where I talked about a few brief features of the guns, and then I gave everything a score, gave you the pros and cons, and I like that at first, but I've realized that doesn't really give a full picture of the gun. I mean, most of you are probably familiar with most of the guns in Black Ops by now, but it doesn't really do it justice. It felt like I was just kind of churning out stuff just to make it. So, and that's not what I want to do. I want everything I put on this channel to be high quality. I want you guys to enjoy watching it. You know, obviously I want more people to subscribe to me, more people to watch my videos, and it would be unreasonable to expect people to do that if I wasn't putting out stuff that I was proud of and that I was happy with. So I've decided to change my form of reviews. No longer will I make little minute-long reviews where I just talk about the gun for a minute and then give it a little score and that's it. What I'm going to do from now on is I'm just going to play with each gun until I get one solid gameplay. Instead of pulling clips from a bunch of different gameplays like I was doing before, I'm going to play with each gun until I get a gameplay that's either really good or it exemplifies things I want to talk about the gun, and it'll serve my purposes for the review. So what I'm doing with this one is I am playing a game of domination, and I'm doing it with the Galil painted red, my favorite color for the guns in Black Ops. I really like how the red looks. And some things I like about the gun right off the bat: it feels a lot like the M4 in previous Call of Duty games. Now obviously the M4 is not in Black Ops, it'd be the wrong area of time, but this is pretty close to the feel of the M4. It's got very manageable accuracy, very little recoil. It doesn't have a ton of stopping power, but it's got a good fire rate, so that lets you overcome the lack of stopping power most of the time. I'm not crazy about the looks though. I don't like the handle sticking off the side. I know it's for functional reasons. I'm not griping about that. Wow, that was just terrible. I meant to jump. I jumped a little bit too late. But I'm not complaining about the functionality of having the handle on the side. I just don't personally like how it looks. It just feels like a slightly larger, clunkier gun to me. So that's a pretty minor complaint. Other than that, I think the looks of the gun are okay. But of course looks is not the biggest thing I go for when I'm choosing a gun anyway, except for the Enfield. I really don't like how the Enfield looks for some reason. I'm not sure. I mean, I like how the FAMAS looks, and that's a hideous gun. I like how the G11 looks. That's also a pretty hideous gun, but I don't know. And let's see, what else do I want to talk about the Galil? It's a pretty popular gun. I see a lot of people online using it. A lot of people pick that as one of their first gold guns, it seems. And I can see why after playing with it for a while. Obviously this is not my first match with it. I played a bunch of matches with it to get what I consider to be a decent gameplay. But it has a lot of good things going for it. It feels like a very well-rounded, well-balanced weapon. Unlike some guns, unlike the AK or the Enfield, which feel like they have a lot of recoil, or the M14, which is just clumsy to use, the Galil is just really smooth and easy to use. Anytime I pull it up, I'm fairly confident about how it's going to perform. It feels like an old familiar friend that you just pick up and use again. It doesn't feel like a difficult to use gun or something you're using only, to say hey, I can do really good with any gun I want to use. No, this is just really a good gun all around. I would use this for pretty much every game mode. I don't know if I'd use it for really close quarter maps because it does not hip fire well. That's actually one of the biggest complaints I have with the Galil, is the hip firing performance is pretty crappy. Now I realize that's probably just done for balance, because an assault rifle should have much better accuracy than a submachine gun, so it should be able to hip fire just as well. Unless the Galil is shooting really large rounds, the recoil shouldn't be that bad to keep you from being able to hip fire well. But they couldn't have something with really good long range accuracy that also hip fires like a beast. That wouldn't be fair, that wouldn't be balanced. People would start hating on it like they hate the FAMAS, I'm sure. So I understand why they did it. It's just a little bit annoying because it feels like with the MPL, or well, most of the submachine guns, which are pretty much mostly the same, as I'm sure most of you have noticed by now, it feels like you can hip fire about as accurately as you can aim down the sights. Obviously not quite the same, but pretty close, with the notable exception of the Uzi, which I picked up for some reason. I'm not sure why. I just saw it on the floor and was like, hey, I want to use that. And then I realized I don't like the Uzi. I'm not really going to look forward to doing that weapon review. But yeah, the aim down the sights on the Galil is pretty much a must. You're not really going to get anywhere hip firing. I've gotten a few hip fire kills, and that was only from extremely close range. So, oh well. Other nice things about the Galil, it's got a pretty good clip capacity, or I'm sorry, magazine capacity. It holds 35 rounds, which is nice. I believe that's a bit higher than a lot of the other assault rifles, which should be 20 to 30 rounds, or 25 to 30 rounds, I believe. So I do like that a lot. And look at that accuracy. I think the attachment I'd probably go with most of the time would be the red dot sight. I think any sight that has more zoom than that is probably going to amplify the recoil a little more than you want. But with the red dot sight, I think that's a pretty good blend of accuracy and ease of use. I have tried it with the flamethrower, the suppressor. I did not actually like it with the suppressor. With the suppressor, it felt like I lost a lot of stopping power, and that could have just been a feeling. That might not have been totally accurate, but it really felt like I lost a lot of stopping power. So I don't use the suppressor most of the time. Let's see, I tried the flamethrower. I tried the master key. It's like the master key on most of the other guns. I mean, if you really need a shotgun that badly, it'll work. But I don't recommend using the master key just because a shotgun does not work really well, I don't think, if you can only take one shot and then go back. That's why I don't personally like the Olympia. It does require a higher level of skill to use, so it's kudos to the people who can use it well. But like that guy right there, he did well because he was able to kill me in one shot. If he'd had to take a second shot, he probably would have been able to. I believe he was using a silenced or suppressed spaz. But if he had had the master key, he would have shot me. He wouldn't have killed me. He would have had to switch back to the normal weapon function on his rifle and then shoot me again. And there's a very good chance I would have been able to turn around, scope up, and shoot him before he did that, or run towards him and knife him or something. I mean, he still had the opportunity to kill me. It just put the odds severely against him if he had been using the master key. And that's why I don't really recommend using it for any of the guns. Other attachments. Extended mags, probably not really a big deal. I don't think you would need those. The taped mags, yeah, I mean, if you're into that, I use Sleight of Hand Pro pretty much all the time. So, as my second perk, so I wouldn't use the extra sights. Also, I rarely live long enough to use up all of my ammunition. I'm not really a spray guy. I'm a little more of a burst guy. And, of course, that was a pretty long burst. Of course, right as I say that, I do a really long burst. But I'm more of a burst guy than a spray guy. So I would probably not use all of my ammunition. I very rarely do, and if I do, I just pick up someone else's gun. That's one of the reasons I'm trying to get a good gameplay with all of the guns. I want to be fluent on all of them, so that in the heat of battle I can pick up anything I happen to come across and do halfway decently in. Alright, that's probably as much as I want to talk about the Galil. If I have any other thoughts come to mind, I'll say them, but for now I'll just talk about the gameplay. This is a pretty tight game, as you can see. We have been going neck and neck the entire game. The other team has been playing really, really well. We've made some mistakes, admittedly. I haven't been really proud of some of the decisions I've made. I should be monitoring the map a little bit more. I feel like I'm running back and forth a little bit too much. But now I'm trying to play a little more cautiously because I see now that we're getting kind of down to the wire. I don't want to mess this up for the rest of the team. I'm in here guarding. I want to make sure we do this right. So I'm going to try to play it a little more cautious, stay near B, which is what I usually like to do when I'm playing domination here. I like to just stay in the middle and kind of intercept whatever's coming across. So I'm going to try to do that. We'll see how well that goes. And it is really close, 162 to 60. And we have B, which they had just a minute ago. Of course, being at C, they're spawning. They've got not a really good entrance to us. They can run around and try to come through the back like those guys did, but I think assaulting directly from C into B is not that easy unless you go through the ground floor, which is also really easy to cover. So I much prefer to assault B from the A side. That could just be personal preference, but that is my preference. Of course I got a headshot. He was ducking down. I think it's kind of funny how the game gives you extra points for basically anything. It's like, ooh, you shot someone in the leg, you get the leg points. You shot them in the head, you get headshot. You shot them a long distance away, you get extra long distance super points. I mean, it's just kind of, it's a little ridiculous. Like, I don't think I need my hand held that much. I don't need someone patting me on the back going, good job, you did a good job. But, you know, that's how the game is, and we all like it. And he took his crate. That was his crate. That's not a big deal. I just figured I would help a brother out. I have been doing that when I get crates that I don't really care about that much. I have been just leaving them there and either typing in chat or using voice chat to tell people to take the crate, because I'm trying to get Hardline Pro, which is really hard to get when you're not playing with people you know. So if you guys know anyone who plays Black Ops on the PC, you should add me on Steam, and if you don't know my Steam name, it's Germ. That should be pretty obvious. But add me on Steam. I'd like to play with people I know, you know, kind of make some friends in the game. So we are going to win. We were able to pull away just a little bit, and wow, I very narrowly avoided getting the last kill, but that came out to be 24-18. It was a really enjoyable match. If you guys like this, please like, please subscribe, please send me a comment and let me know what you think. Have a great day.